Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, can I go a story title: My wife cheated, so I tricked her into publicly admitting to having an affair and a certain STD. And guys, this story is about a guy. He sounds like he's probably in his mid-20s and got married ridiculously too young, with not a whole lot of time to get to know his girl. And to no surprise, one day, after already seeing some suspicious behavior, gets concrete proof that she's cheating with her professor. She's going for her doctorate in anthropology and finds out that she's hooking up with her professor who's in his 50s. And this guy is the classic don't get mad, get even. Now, he does get hurt and obviously mad, but he certainly gets even, comes up with a very creative way not only to get even with her, but also the guy that's hooking up with her, because this guy most certainly knows that she's married and doesn't care. And that'll be a good one to go over here. Aside from the entertainment factors, a few lessons in here once again will reinforce why you don't get married super young. It's crazy. There's no rush, no point to it. You need to establish yourself in this world, grow up a bit, etc., life experience. Why you need to spend years getting to know your girl. I don't mean 2 years, I mean many years. And then living with her to see what she's also like, things like that. And also you're going to see here that this guy sounds like he comes from a modest background, but she comes from a wealthy family. And it turns out she's a spoiled brat, used to getting her way all the time, not being told no. And in my opinion, those types of people are a-holes, and you certainly don't want to be married to them because they don't care about anybody else but themselves. Of course, there are exceptions of people born into wealthy families. I know some very wealthy people are very nice, but the ones that are clearly spoiled, used to getting their way, they're not even friendship material, in my opinion. They'll stab you in the back in a heartbeat. So, it says here, oh, by the way, guys, this is an older story. Someone sent it over to me, and I saw it was old. Maybe you heard this before, but that was a good one. I never covered it, so that'd be a good one to share. It says here, in college, I met the woman who I thought was my one. Smack. First freaking sentence. No such thing as the one. There's 8 billion people on the planet and counting, and there's plenty of gals that could potentially, you could, have a good thing going. But clearly this one is she's not the one, she's not even the million. We dated for about 2 years and had a big-ass wedding after 10 months of engagement. Smack! 2 years, you fool. I don't care how great you thought it was. You don't need to rush into things. Come on, this is the shit that guys do that are fearful, like, oh God, I gotta lock her down, otherwise I'm gonna lose her. Her family, it says here, after a 10-month engagement. Her family was pretty well-to-do in a small southern town. We were both continuing our education, and I was working to support us. I was pursuing my master's in engineering, while she was finishing her doctorate in anthropology. Now, not to knock the anthropologists that are watching me. There's got to be one anthropologist watching me somewhere in the world. Not to knock Indiana Jones, he's an archaeologist. But anyhow, not a whole lot of job openings for anthropologists out there. So people that tend to get those type of degrees, where there's a whole lot of demand for people in that field, tend to either really have, let's just say, not the best common sense about putting your money and time towards something with not a lot of demand, or they come from wealthy families that can pay for their degree and it doesn't make a difference to them. Anyway, he's going for engineering and he's going to obviously do well. Over the summer, an opportunity came up for her to make some extra money going in as an aide on a religious studies trip to Jamaica. I didn't hesitate when she asked me about it. I mean, she was going to get to visit Jamaica and get paid for it. I saw no downside other than missing her being at home for 6 weeks. So, a lot of husbands out there after years of marriage will be like, no problem, send the wife to Jamaica for 6 weeks. I finally get some peace and quiet around here. No more giving me shit because I left the toilet seat up and I can eat pizza as often as I want. But in reality, bad idea. No, you're married now. She shouldn't be going off to Jamaica for 6 weeks without you. Little did I know at the time, but she had been effing the professor. He had hung out with us, smoked at my house, and drank my effing beer. I considered him a friend who arranged the trip for a couple months, and it was a getaway for them to bang all over the island. Gee, that's not a stereotype. The professor nailing a student. That's never happened before in human history. Says I, clueless and happy, went about the weeks while she was going to take extra shifts so I could match what she made in our account and surprise her. What a dipshit, right? Well, you know what, bro? You made mistakes. But if you learn from these mistakes, then it wasn't a total loss. You were young. Plenty of guys have made dumber mistakes. One of the students from the trip actually seeked me out to clue me in. I didn't believe him until I started looking for evidence on my own. I broke down and checked her text while she was sleeping, and nothing was there. There were a few voice messages, so I decided to listen, and there it was. A message from that giant a-hole saying how exciting it was that I almost caught them. I opened up her laptop, and it hit me, and hit the emails after that. It was piles and piles of crap making fun of me for not knowing, effing in our bed, and laughing about it. There was so much, and I was so heartbroken. So it's bad enough that she's cheating with this professor of hers, but they're hooking up in his own bed, in their apartment or home, and they're making fun of him. What I say about being married to some spoiled a-hole who's used to getting her way, everything, no one ever says no to her or something like that, right? But nobody deserves this. The situation was reversed, and this was the girl, and the guy was cheating with his female professor. She wouldn't deserve that either. Anyhow, it says here, still too hurt to take any action. I was lost. I had no idea what to do, so I sat on it for a couple weeks and acted as normally as I could. I noticed everything now. I felt so stupid for not seeing it before. So many signs, one stuck out in particular. He had the rose-tinted glasses on. He didn't think she would ever do this to him. I noticed that our stash of homemade weed lube, if you've never tried it, I highly recommend giving it a go. No thanks. Was going down even though we weren't having sex. It was obvious they were using my fruits of my labor to get off more effectively. This really pissed me off, like unreasonably so, Incredible Hulk effing mad. It finally all hit me. I was a goddamn joke to these a-holes, and they were just using the lube I made and effing in my bed. I didn't hurt anymore, I just want to make them hurt. Well, the quickest way to get over despair is anger and revenge. And these two a-holes deserve it, and let me tell you, this guy redeems himself coming up with a way to get even with him. So while she was studying in the library, I made a new batch of lube. I put enough weed in it for it to smell like normal, but I also added some poison ivy from our backyard to the mixture. Oh my God. And after refilling the spray bottle we used for the application, I waited. So if you haven't connected the dots yet, guys, yes, there's the substance, the weed for smoking, and this is the one to put down there to make the lovin' more feel better. But he's putting poison ivy in there. I get poison ivy. I haven't had it in a very long time, and it is miserable. A few days go by, and I'm working extra so I can be out of the house more, and bam, bait taken. That night, after she goes to sleep, my plan goes into action. I sneak her phone away and delete my contact, while replacing his phone number in his contact as mine. So it may look like when this guy was reaching out to her is actually from this guy, her husband. I go to bed, but I can't sleep because it feels like 5 a.m. tomorrow, and it is Christmas. Meaning his anticipation is like Christmas coming up. Dawn arrives, and she's in the shower, and I get a text. She says, "I'm super itchy. Are you okay?" Now, Lord, now is my time. I thought I had cleared it up, but I guess I had a flare-up. Oh, she says, look. Oh, no, he says, my bad, guys. He says, look, I thought I had cleared it up, but I guess I had a flare-up. I'm sorry, but I've got herpes, and I guess you do too as well. He's pretending to be the professor saying that, well, it looks like I got the herpes. I guess you do too. I heard my wife squeak in the shower. I'm covering my mouth, damn near losing it. I went on to tell her that it was time to end things now. A new semester was about to start, and I'm having a little crush on another teacher's assistant. I wanted her mad. This is a woman that I never got told no growing up, and never had to deal with rejection, let alone from a balding dude in his 50s with herpes. So I'm picturing this. She's in the shower or by the shower, freaking out, and he's in the other room texting, pretending to be the professor, breaking up with her and saying that he has herpes. When she got out of the shower, it was obvious she'd been crying, but I could see the anger in her eyes. I could see how uncomfortable she was, squirming at the table drinking coffee and mulling the situation over. Another little nudge is what she needed. The reply she got to her pages and pages of anger and sadness was, "Thanks for the good times, but can you keep a secret between us? I don't want to ruin my chances with anyone else." She's flushed with anger now, just seething. She gathered her keys and headed out the door without even saying goodbye. This is what she gets. He says, I knew where she was going. I booted up her laptop and said to reformat, deleting her dissertation and any notes pertaining to before following her to campus. Deleting her dissertation and any notes pertaining to it before following her to campus. Oh my God. She's a doctoral student. He deleted her dissertation, all her notes. Oh my God. I followed her to campus. I parked a few lots over and rushed over to his office, where I find her screaming at him for giving her herpes. There's a lot of people there. Professors, aides, students, and other faculty. I am dying. He is beyond embarrassed and confused as hell. She is ugly crying in front of her peers. I'm in heaven. I don't even care that people are going to think I had herpes too. Dude, this is just too good. And you know what? Some people might say, maybe, well, the whole poison spray, that's going pretty far, but still funny. But making her think that he was dumping her and all that and having her scream at him in front of the whole faculty, that's awesome. That's hilarious. The fallout was apocalyptic in their department. He lost his job due to a code of conduct at the university. We got divorced the following year. The state law was we had to be separated for 1 full year before being granted a divorce. I got to keep most of the assets, primarily savings, and not a ton, but I worked for it. She never finished her doctorate and went on to be a perpetual pregnant housewife that sells Herbalife on Facebook, and he teaches high school now. That's good. How many D-bag professors have been hooking up with their students who were either had boyfriends or fiancés or even were married and didn't care? He got what he deserved. And to him, probably that was a punishment worse than death. Going from being a college professor, maybe even tenured. I mean, I'm sure tenures can get fired over something like this, to teaching high school. No offense to the high school teachers, but you got to understand, going from college to university, teaching high school, not exactly, the only fucking high school assholes. And her dissertation gone, and now she's selling Herbalife on Facebook. See, I thought she came from money, but I guess not too much money that she couldn't do anything the rest of her life. It took a few years for it all to unfold, but watching it was glorious. And that is the end of his story. I thought that was pretty entertaining. I know it's an older story. I'm sure some of you guys, probably a lot of you heard this one, but I know you'd like to hear me have my take on it. So again, remember, you don't rush into marriage. You spend a lot of time getting to know her. You don't do it too young. Don't get involved with gals that are just spoiled little a-holes. And then I'm sure there were other red flags about her along the way. There really were. And also, if you're a professor, you're watching this, or any kind of authority figure, there are consequences if you start nailing a married woman or woman in a relationship, because you may get some guy who's calm and cool and diabolical, and you can get what's coming to you. Now, a few comments before I wrap this up. Well, by the way, there are a few comments, and he actually responds. I'll read to you. One guy says here, I just want to say I wasn't expecting this at all. And from someone who's had poison ivy in my hoo-ha, this is from a woman, she said, hey, I was a kid who didn't know peeing in the woods etiquette. You have no idea what it feels like. That really was a triple whammy: poison, ivy, herpes scare, and public embarrassment. Another guy says here, this was fantastic, but subjecting her to the issues of a pyramid scheme Herbalife, that was the best part. Another guy says here, as they say, revenge is best served cold. I would have lost it as soon as I found out and would never have the time to plan something so epic. How's your love life right now? Have you ever trusted another woman after that? And the guy telling the story says, I've been always pretty calm. I can usually think my way through things even if I approach it rationally, hence the career in engineering. I was proud of myself for that though. You never really know what you have until you need it. My love life now is amazing. I have a smoking hot, amazing wife. Getting through this situation without crumbling into a mass grave, me giving the best confidence boost. Dating was easier after this happened, and I got in touch of notoriety at school for my stunt. There you go. So he walked away. Yeah, he was hurt, but he walked away. Now he's doing even better than he was before. And last comment, and this dude responds. He says here, wait. Why did she get to keep anything at all if she cheated and you had all the emails, texts, she's screaming in front of others about it? How does the law work in that way, and how much did she get to keep? And he says, we filed amicably. Amicably, I don't know how that happened. I told her what I wanted and got zero pushback. I let her keep $2,000 from the savings because I had no interest in keeping the money she got paid to F in Jamaica. I also let her keep everything in the house. I left with my car, dog, clothes, a few personal items, and when I left her, I left everything from that life in that house. I didn't need a second trip. Awesome. Now, he could have been married to her for years or had kids with her and wouldn't have known until it was too late. So at least, this still happened when they were not married too long and he was young. And he can rebuild his whole life as any guy can. Anyhow, guys, that'd be a pretty entertaining one here. I don't know how I didn't ever see this one before, but, I get new ones all the time. Stories that are new to me, but are old ones, and I'll cover here. I think they're always fun to cover. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. Let me know, guys. Do you know anybody did any crazy pranks like that to get even with anybody that was hurting them or cheating on them or whatever? Let's hear about it in the comment section. I think it'd be pretty fun to read. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.